ADB, are you actually from Malaysia? Are you from Malaysia or from Singapore? I always see this ADB here. ADB, are you around? You mind to check, leave a chat. Where are you from? Evening, Farida, season.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, kindly remind your partners to join in the call. We're going to start within a few more minutes from now. ADB from Sabah. Hey, Vicky, I think we'll start first.
No worries. Yeah.
Some are here early. Okay, evening, everyone. Welcome to Asia Malaysia Zoom for tonight. Okay, before that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Zinyi Fu. Yeah, I'm the key account and training manager for Asia Malaysia. I take care of our associates. Okay, if there is any gray area, I act as a consultant to our associates and also manage the trainings in Asia Malaysia. Okay, so every week we have Asia Malaysia Singapore. We will conduct two sessions of training, okay, or events, or what we call as a uh, opportunity seminar on Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday is conducted by my colleague in Singapore. It's more towards product talk, okay, product category, while on Thursday is more towards opportunity presentation. Not only that, skill sets, and sometimes we will also have complan presentation. Okay, basically is considered as a new associate training on Thursday most of the time. So if you have prospects, you do not know how to explain the Asia business, okay, you may use this Thursday session. Okay, invite the person into this Thursday session to understand the business. So tonight is on my schedule is actually a master class. So again, congratulations to everyone for attending our master class tonight. Why is master class? Because of the speaker. Okay, so the speaker tonight is BK Tan, Singaporean. Okay, recently achieved diamond in the conference. Okay, we celebrated his achievement in the conference in November this year. Well, BK himself is a Singapore government scholar. He owns a traditional business. He also runs some e-commerce, and he is a photographer enthusiast. Okay, suka mengambil gambar, 喜欢拍照的人。Okay, with, well, this is just a brief introduction of him. He will introduce himself a little bit more in in his presentation later. All right. So again, congratulations everyone. Welcome to our training for tonight. And without further ado, I would like to invite BK to start his presentation. Okay, BK, we need to do recording before that. So the stage is yours, BK.
Thank you, Zinyi. Thank you so
Recording
much.
in progress.
A big thank you to Corporate Asia, Malaysia, and Singapore for having me on today. And thank you, Zinyi, for always helping to coordinate all of this. Welcome to everyone. I will share my screen and hopefully you can see my screen. We tested it just now. It should be working just fine. Okay, all can see my screen, right?
Clear.
So I'm going to share a little bit about ASEA products and the opportunity that it entails, and also a little bit of my story as we go along, because Zini was asking me to do a little bit of that. So I will try and do that as we go along. Some of you may have heard this before. Today, I'll try and see whether I can share something different for all of you today. So over the past few years, I'm very, very grateful for ASEA for helping me to help make a difference all over the world, as well as give me a chance to make a living while doing that. So these are pictures from everywhere in the world, like US, Australia, Thailand, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, obviously. And also thanks to ASEA's opportunity, I have been on TV before, I've been on the radio before, I've been on a newspaper before, but I've never been on the wall of a conference like this in a huge photo. So thanks to ASEA, Malaysia, Singapore as well, I had a chance to have my face on the wall, first time experience ever. So this was last year, and this was this year. And if you cannot spot me, this is me. BK is just a short form of my name. It's just easy for everyone to remember. If you you can remember Burger King, you can remember my name easily. So my story with ASEA starts with this person in this picture. He's my good friend, Kevin Ho, who is my Triple Diamond upline sponsor. So back in 2012, I already know that he was very, very unwell. In fact, during that time, Kevin suffered since 2012 to about 2017, endlessly for 5 long years. He was always in pain. The doctors could not do anything for him except prescribe to him very, very strong painkillers. But around 2017, when I was back in Singapore, I heard that he was actually getting better, right? So we had a quick breakfast meeting together, and he was sharing with me this thing that really helped to turn his health around after 5 long years of suffering. And the first thing I told my good friend was that, bro, if it's another supplement, honestly, I'm not interested. Even though at that time I just came back from China after suffering a business failure, I was actually actively looking for an opportunity for myself. But I told him honestly, it's a supplement, I'm not interested. But he told me, just listen to what I have to say. It is something that is found very, very incredible. You never heard of it before. It has huge potential and is a huge technology. So, of course, being good friends, I listened to him. And thankfully for that, I have had the chance to get involved with ASEA since then. So that brings us to our next slide, which is very helpful for us to share with people. He showed me that ASEA Redox is not another vitamin, mineral, antioxidant, exotic juice, essential oil, or CBD oil. Now, don't get us wrong. We're not trying to say that these things are not important. These things are still important, except that ASEA Redox goes beyond nutrition and ingredients, and it impacts our health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. Now, and for many people, it represents the missing link to better health. For me, seeing what has happened to Kevin was a very strong confidence booster for me, because I know that this was actually working for him. So it gave me a lot of confidence to jump in and start my ASEA business with ASEA then. And we know that it is the world's first and only cell signaling supplement, backed by 7 patents and over 1,000 trade secrets. Now, to me, that time, this was extremely important because my business failed because of very severe competition. And I didn't want anything to do with something that could basically, I spend time building and then it will be destroyed by, say, competition again. So when I found that this was heavily patented, we have no competition in the world, that gave me another very big important tick in the things I was looking for another business venture. Now, of course, we need to understand a little bit of the science because it is actually a very big biotech breakthrough. But don't worry, we are not going to go into a very medical class today. Just to very simply understand that all of us have cells in our body, and in every cell, we have this thing called a mitochondria, which actually produce this thing called redox molecules from the salty fluid inside our cells. Now, I'm sure many of us heard the saying before that human beings or all of us are 70% water. Actually, that statement is only half correct. We are more actually correctly 70% salt and water. And these mitochondria in our body, in our cells, help to produce energy, and at the same time, they produce these very important signaling molecules that help my good friend's health and many others that I know of since then to actually change their life around. So how do we do this? ASEA simply has a very important patented 3-step process whereby step 1, you can see from this picture, we take very pristine salt water, exactly what is found inside our cells. And then step 2, we break apart the 4 atoms that combine to make water and salt into sodium, chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen. And step 3, through our very important process, we recombine them into multiple sets of high energy redox signaling molecules. Now, if you have played with Lego before in your younger days, okay, you would know that sometimes you hand the same set of Lego toys to a boy, he may come out with a battleship. You give it to another boy, he may come out with an airplane. So this is exactly how these atoms are like. When you recombine them, they can form numerous types of balanced sets of redox signaling molecules, and you can find them in a bottle of ASEA or in a tube of Renew 28. And why are these molecules, signaling molecules, important? They are important because they help to signal and talk to each other between cells. That means cells talk within themselves to tell them what to do, and at the same time, they also talk to their neighbors to tell them about the situation around them. So that is the way our body stays healthy, by having very good communication between cells. And if they do not do that, if the cells cannot communicate properly, that is when a normal cell can become a damaged cell, and a damaged cell can then become a cell that has very heavy oxidative stress. And that is one of the root causes of sickness or disease, which we do not ever want. Okay. So again, just to quickly highlight, because it's so important, just remember that ASEA redox signaling molecules are exactly the same as the ones that we find inside our mitochondria. They produce them in our cells, okay? And that is the same redox molecules that we are talking about using the saline from inside our cells. And it is through this very important 3-step process that is heavily protected by patents and trade secrets. And of course, they play a vital role to ensure that our cells can stay healthy and free from oxidative stress. Now, if we are already producing these molecules inside our body, why do we then want to supplement them? Or why does Kevin, my good friend, need to supplement them back into his health or his body? It's because, sadly, all of us, as long as we are human beings on planet Earth, we all make less and less of these molecules as we age. In fact, the science tells us that about 10% less every decade. That means every 10 years, about 10% lesser molecules in our body. Now, that is not the only bad news. The other thing about the world today is that toxins in our environment, stress, and diets also cause us to produce less of these molecules over time. Okay, so sometimes we may think that we only have this amount, but it could be even lesser because the toxins and the stress and the diet that we have today is no longer the same as, say, our grandparents' time. So good news is that in every bottle and every tube of Renew, it contains a balanced set of active redox molecules, exactly the same as the ones our cells make. They are bioactive and bioavailable. They are absorbed and not digested, compared to other supplements that you find in the marketplace that needs to go through digestion. These are small, little, tiny molecules that are quickly absorbed the moment it touches our human flesh. Okay. Now, bioactive and bioavailable, very important concepts. They are actually native to us, meaning to say we make them ourselves in our body, which means what? Which means that I'm sure all of us like to consume natural products, right? Natural products are things like what? Strawberries, peanuts, blueberries, etc. But even though these are natural products, I'm sure you've heard of people who are allergic to, say, peanuts, for example. So we can still be allergic to things that are not made in our body because they are made in the natural world. But nobody will ever be allergic to redox signaling molecules because they are native to us. They are made inside our bodies already. The moment you consume them, your body recognizes them and can use them immediately, and you cannot be allergic to them. Now, of course, as consumers, our concern is always, is it safe? Is it credible? Is it true? So over the years, we have always been doing scientific research with third-party, very credible third-party research institutions and universities to help us show that these things are safe and these things indeed do the things that we say they do. So these are just some of the organizations we partner with, like Torrey Laboratories, University of Bath, Western Sydney, Australia. At the same time, these are other institutions that we partner with. And I want you to take note at the last column or the last square, which is a question mark. Now, why is there a question mark? Because at this moment in time, we are already in working relationships with many, many other institutions that are using our products to test and do additional research. So all these question marks simply tell us that we can look forward to more and more study and incredible results to show us about what we can do in the near future. So like what we say in Malaysia, akan datang. So basically, these little tiny molecules are helping our cells to do what they were born to do in the first place. We must always remember that our body, the molecules or the product itself is not the miraculous thing. It is actually our own body that is the miraculous thing because we actually help to heal ourselves. What we simply do is to help the body to do what it wants to do in the first place. Okay. And this was a study that was done in 2017. I'll just touch a little bit more about this because this is interesting for most people. It actually shows that after 8 weeks of consumption, based on the prescribed dosage, we actually can see our gene pathways improve in genetic expression by between 20 to 31% in these 5 areas: immune system, inflammatory response, cardiovascular health, digestive health, and hormone modulation. Now, it does not mean that other areas are not helped. It just means that we only had time to do these 5. But of course, these 5 also more or less covers 95% of most people's problems. If you think of a problem that somebody may have, likelihood is it will fall into one of these 5 areas. And one of the genes that was studied was EGR1, which I'll touch a little bit more about what it can do as well, because it impacts an additional 15 pathways. And one of the key pathway is NRF2 pathway, which actually helps to increase our glutathione production inside our bodies itself. Now, glutathione is like our master antioxidant. You think of them as the superhero class level antioxidants. If you have watched Marvel movies, right, they are like the superhero like Captain America, Superman, or the Incredible Hulk level kind of antioxidants because it helps to fight against many, many free radical damage in the body, unlike just say a normal other kind of antioxidant. Okay, so we actually showed during this study by the University of Bath and Western Sydney, Australia, that it actually increases by up to 60% inside our body when we have supplementation of redox signaling molecules. Okay. In fact, what was interesting in this study that we just recently released, if you have not read it before, please ask the friend who is invited you tonight to get you the study to just have a look. It actually shows that it increases even more the level of glutathione in a compromised cell. That means if a cell is slightly damaged already, the increase is even higher than a normal healthy cell, which is very interesting. It shows us and suggests to us that our body really wants to help itself. And when there's damage, the increase is actually higher than for a normal cell. So, like I said, there's a question mark in the another square over there, right? Because we are already in partnership with several other scientific institutional partners over the years, they are slowly starting to recognize that we are really a technology ahead of its time. 10 to 15 years ago, we were already saying we were 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. Today, this statement still holds true. Very fascinating. Okay. Now, of course, it doesn't just help people who are, say, facing health challenges. It actually, this technology helps people who are very sporty and very active in life because it helps with endurance, strength, and recovery. Most of us, if we are active and we go to the gym for training, we normally train on one day, we rest the next day, and then we train the next following day, right? We need to give our body rest. But world-class athletes that are in partnership with us, Olympic class athletes who are gold medal winners, for example, they actually do training in the morning, they rest for a little bit, then they train in the afternoon again, and then they rest for a little bit, and they train at night again. So imagine the level of recovery that they require from their own bodies. And these athletes rely and really, really like our products because they can see and feel the difference it gives to them when they are in such a tight and very heavy training regime. So it also helps with people that have some appearance that they want to improve. So this is really seeing is believing. I always like to point out from the bottom, from the right, the bottom second from the bottom. If you look at it, you can see that it reduces this kind of looks very, very quickly. And we all know that this is great for discomfort. If you apply it in 3 times over 5 minutes in a time frame of 5 minutes, you can experience relief from some of the things that you are having discomfort from. So anywhere from your joints, your shoulder, and so on. In fact, many times, if we try on 10 persons, 9 times out of 10, they will tell us that there's a reduction in the discomfort they feel after applying the product. And very interestingly, it actually works on every part of the body because we often get asked, does it help in certain conditions or does it help in certain areas? Actually, as long as involves a cell, right, everything can be helped. If your cells can't signal, little else will matter. So this is a true breakthrough in cell signaling. Right now in our company, we have 4 products that contain these amazing redox molecules. They are the redox drink, the Renew 28, the intensive serum, as well as the most recently released product called the clay mask. The clay mask, all of us must try because it really is quite amazing. And the scientific world is also helping us to show and validate what we have. In the redox world or in the scientific world, what you will notice is that anything less than 50 to 100 years is considered very young science. So we are actually a very young science, but it is getting the attention of many of these top scientists all over the world. Many, many books have been published on the topic of redox signaling. There are multiple articles, thousands and thousands of articles written inside PubMed. And of course, even conferences are being held on a yearly basis that address the topic of redox science. Okay, so for example, the bottom right, you can see it is already in its 27th year. Okay, that they talk about a group of scientists, a PhD level scientists, come together and talk about this topic called redox medicine. And very interestingly, some of these very established organizations, they actually change their names to reflect the importance of redox in the current medical landscape. Now, most of us, if we are born with a name, we do not change our name, right? Same with this kind of organizations or institutions. The only reason for changing such a thing is to show how important this topic is. So now some of these very old societies have changed their name to include redox in their names. So the next part is I would like to talk a little bit about the company that we partner with. Because when I was choosing my business, I was ticking a few checkbox, right? One of them was, of course, no competition. Another one was that it was a breakthrough technology. It was not another common supplement. But the other thing that really impressed me was how the company got started. And this is actually one of the another key important check mark when you are choosing a business to partner with. So the company started. We are a very different company. We are registered with the Direct Selling Association for Malaysia, for example. And this is one of the profile statements that is written there. We have, in fact, our vision statement is to set a new industry standard for professional principle-based management with a focus on personal development of our associates. We are a very different kind of direct selling company. once a lot of people who may say that I'm not going to touch network marketing with a 10-foot pole, when they come and experience what we have here in ASEA as a culture, they change their minds. So sometimes if your friend is not that open about this model of business, the best thing you can do for them is to invite them to come for one of our events, like the one that was recently held. It was very well done, very well organized by Corporate Malaysia and all the APAC countries. It was a very good convention. Those kind of meetings can help to show people what kind of company we are. So the genesis of ASEA started with these two gentlemen, Verdis Norton and Tyler Norton. As the name suggests, they are father and son. In fact, they are very, very credible and very very important people in the world of business in their respective fields. Verdis, for example, was a VP of strategy for a $36 billion business called Kraft Foods, right? So he knows how to look at a business and how to scale a business properly. And of course, Tyler was also a chief distribution officer for a very, very old financial services company. And these two have bring to them a lot of experience in the business world. So what happened was when they came across this technology, this company was actually able to produce redox signaling, but not stabilize it yet. But they ran out of money. Okay. And they wanted to ask whether we wanted to buy them, our founders, and they made a decision to buy them in spite of the fact that it was not stabilized yet. So there was no actual commercial value. Okay. But they partnered with a group of a team of very credible scientists, in fact, led by one person who was an atomic medical physicist, Dr. Gary Samuelson, who actually helped to stabilize these molecules that was never thought possible before, right? So the play at that time was to try and sell the business to a pharmaceutical company, right? Because if you can stabilize it, it has huge potential. Let's try and sell it to another pharmaceutical company. But at that time, when they were looking for a business broker to go out and find a potential buyer, they also started to give out these products to 40 people in their neighborhood. And these people had very severe health challenges. And they were seeing some very positive turnarounds and benefits. So much so that these 40 people actually started to, of their own accord, distribute these products to over 140 people all over the world without us knowing. Okay. So there was, in fact, a company that was interested in buying a product, our technology over from us. And they said that if we issue you a huge check, and according to the business broker, it was north of $1 billion, that two things must happen. One, stop production. Two, you must recall all products that are out there that are people using them. So they do not want anyone else out there using the products. And the founders asked and said, what about the people who are using the products and getting good results? Then the reply was simply, they have to find their own way. So at that point in time, the owners, our founders, had to decide whether to sell and potentially really get a windfall, okay, because it was a huge check that they wrote, or decide not to sell and find another way to distribute this technology. And thankfully, our founders then decided to say yes to people, principles, and purpose, and no to the very, very huge for the financial payout. So that was how we got started. And because of that, thankfully, over these few years, a lot of people that we know, and maybe some of them are loved ones and good friends, like my good friend Kevin, we can say that because of this decision, they were helped by this very important decision. So we are a global leader in cellular health. Okay, we were established in 2009. Just a quick overview of the company. Very importantly, we are also legacy focused and debt free. We own our own FDA registered manufacturing facility, 19 distribution centers, and shipping to well over 35 countries. And in fact, if I do a same presentation sometime next year, it will be more than 35, it will be 44 countries already. So thousands and thousands of lives change, including one that I can call a good friend, my good friend Kevin. So if you are looking for a business opportunity, look for one that is forward-looking. We are, for the past 40 years, we have always been talking about vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, exotic juices. Now, again, like I said, nothing wrong with them. We still need them. but they are the previous wave. The next wave will be redox cell signaling. Okay, it is a category of science that nobody has heard of before. High impact, life-changing technology, right? Virtually no one knows about it. We have been in the market for 15 years, but still very few people know about it. In fact, probably less than 1% or 1% of people know about it all over the world. And of course, with that, it brings tremendous financial opportunity, which was one of the huge check marks for me. Now, the thing about breakthroughs is that it goes through phases. So the three phases of breakthrough will be ridicule, opposition, and then acceptance. Now, we must really thank some of our early pioneers who joined the business or joined the company very early on around 2009, because during that time there was not much research yet. No institutions publish papers like the gene study or the NRF2 research, right? We don't have that many stories to help us to show people that this can really help in many ways. So they had a lot of challenges. So they were facing ridicule because why? This was a product made from salt and water from a location called Salt Lake City. You can imagine the kind of laughter that drew from people over that kind of description. They probably had an image where our earth took a bucket and went to the lake in Salt Lake City, the water and bottle it for people, right? So probably that kind of ridiculation. But today, we are no longer in that phase. For business, this is the best time to be engaged in our company because we are at the phase where we are at the start of the J curve, the start of the acceptance, the start of growing rapidly into multiple markets. That was one of the key things that drew my attention when I was talking to Kevin. He was showing me all the future markets that we were opening in. And I saw at that time Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and so on. Japan, for example, they were all not open. When I was looking for a business opportunity, that was a huge potential upside. Okay. So we are already in the top 50 of direct selling companies worldwide. We are moving from being a very little known health science breakthrough to becoming a global household name. In fact, the rest of us who help to grow this into a household name, we will potentially enjoying huge financial profits. And this is where true opportunity lies. So high impact technology, no one else has it. In fact, no one even comes close. And of course, most importantly, a lot of people do not know about it. Today, even in the US of A, where we started in, if you walk down any crowded street in, say, like Times Square, probably if you talk to 1,000 people, you'll be lucky you can find 10 persons that have heard about redox signaling technology. Then, now the next thing is when we share with people about our amazing breakthrough and the financial opportunity it affords, people ask us, how does the compensation work? The short and simple answer is it works great. Okay. In fact, what I've noticed is that over the years, when I started, I did a lot of comp plan training, sharing with people when we met with people. But over the years, I've learned that actually the less I talk, the less I share, the easier it works, right? The better it works. And since I've not shared about the comp plan so much, my income actually goes up. So let's just be assured that the computer calculation is very accurate. It just does what it does for us on a weekly basis. If you put in the work for this week, then the following week you get paid. Okay. And the choice you make is you have to decide on how big a distribution channel you want to make. Basically, we are helping to connect people to this amazing product that is manufactured by the company. ASEA is kind of like a partner for us, right? And we help them to bring customers to them, right? So you can build a distribution channel, say in America, in the American continent, right? Or you can also decide to focus your efforts in the Asian distribution channel, which is probably a huge population portion of the world is here. And of course, you can also look at the European side for creating a distribution channel. Or you could do all three, okay? Really up to you. We can build at home and scale abroad, or if you want to scale abroad also, it's really entirely up to you, how big your ambitions lie. So this is an income disclosure statement published by the company, and I'll just very quickly highlight some of the key points. These are audited accounts, meaning to say they are actual real people that make income from here. But of course, we cannot guarantee your income will be the same. We are just telling you that there are people who have made this level of income when they put in the work that is required. So as a quick overview, we have people who are in the director 300 levels. They make an average of $450 a month from this opportunity. Now, these people are typically very, very casual customers who refer one or two people from a time on and off basis. So, but don't think that $450 is not a lot. In fact, there's research that shows that a lot of families break up in marriages because of just simply not having $500 to pay for, say, a mortgage payment or the children's education or even food on the table. So this amount can actually help to save many families as well. Now, of course, people who work a little bit harder, they go up the next level, what we call a bronze executive rank. They are looking at about $2,000 extra every month. Now, this again, while it may not be something to sing out on the top of the mountain about, but what I've heard and really warms my heart when I hear from executives who make this amount is that they say that they can now afford to send their children for extra piano lessons, for horse riding or for tuition, right? Or they save the money for a few months and bring the whole family out on a family vacation. So this is extra income that can change the lives of many, many families. Now, of course, if you work even harder, you get up to the diamond levels, you are looking at a monthly average of about 15,000 to 15,000 US dollars extra every month. Now, this is where what I call fire your boss kind of income. Okay. Because at this level, you have a choice. Okay. You have a choice. But interestingly, my sponsor and good friend, he is a triple diamond, but he has not fired his boss because he is very unique. He loves his job, which is perfectly fine. So he still continues to have a proper corporate job, but he because he loves his job. But if at any point in time he wants to fire his boss, he can, right? If any day his boss makes him angry, he wants to quit his job on the spot, he can because he has the ability to do so. Okay. Now, if that is still not good enough for you, then work even harder, get to the next level. You go up to what we call the ambassador diamond levels, and you're looking at an average of 110,000 US dollars every month. And this is what we call legacy income. Because with this kind of money, you can do a lot more things. In fact, one of my upline leaders, Mel Sott, I'm always very impressed by him because as an ambassador diamond making this kind of income, what he has done is he also has done a lot of good things for charity. He goes to Africa and builds houses for people. Okay, so this is one of his ways of giving back to the world, which I truly respect him for that. So that is for the financial part. Now, the rest of us, when we get started with the company, we also like to tell people to have correct expectations when it comes to using the product. So when you start with the product, please tell yourself that you will give yourself at least 90 days because we find that most people get results in about 90 days. Very rare do you see results in less than a month or 7 days. Okay. And you must also try out this new essentials bundle that has been pushed out by company because this really helps us to remember the genetic level study we did in 2017. These 6 bottles, if you take it 2 cups in the morning, 1 cup at night, plus a free gel, you actually will get the benefits that were shown in the 2017 genetic level study, which means what? Which means after 8 weeks of being on this essentials bundle, your genes will be better expressed by between 20 to 31%. Okay? So after listening to all this, you have 3 choices, most of us. The first choice, you can say no, thank you. And we perfectly respect that and we understand that it is not for everyone. However, we know for sure that you know someone who deserves to know that this technology exists. So please share this along with that friend and help us to also help that person to know about this. Okay. The second kind of person would be you say, I would like to become a customer and enjoy better cellular health. Please reach out to the friend who invited you tonight. They will be able to help you get started on your journey with a seer. And of course, last but not least, you can partner with us hand in hand and help us to bring this technology to market faster in all the growing markets that we have starting now and beyond. Okay. So we like to end our sharing with this statement from our founder because it is one of the highlights of our career. We are all at the start of something big with great purpose, and right now is the moment that we begin influencing the future. For me, that moment for me was 2017 when my friend sat down with me over coffee and told me about ASEA, and for that I'm forever grateful. And because of that, over the past few years, I have been able to travel to multiple countries, regrow my finances, and at the same time, have the joy of seeing it help many people in the world. So thank you for your time. I'll hand over the time back to Zini. Thank you, Zini.
Okay, thank you, Vicky.